Hello, all our Pittsburgh Sportsline fans, friends, family, and people that never watched us before. Hope you tuned into our show, Pittsburgh Sportsline. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Chip Hayner here and Smoking Jim Frazier holding up another mask. We're wearing masks, practicing 6 feet, social distancing. Smoking Jim has so many degrees from Cal U, he discovered he has another degree for wearing 2 masks per one head. So this is another Pittsburgh Sportsline first. And thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate all the likes. We hit one of our highest totals, guys, 6,884. So this old guy learned a few new tricks. I ran into a couple younger people recently and gave them a card because they were doing some nice things for me. And I said, I have a show. And they said, oh, yeah. And then I told them how many likes I had. And they were in their 20s. And they said, you got over 6,800 likes? I go, what do you think? Because I'm old, I don't know Facebook. So they laughed. They said they'd check out our show. So we may have 2 new fans because we did get a couple more likes. But when I meet people, I tell them what I do. And I said, I'm a people person. I'm suffering through the Corona lockdown because I like people and I can't get too close to them because I got the 2 strikes against me, kidney transplant with the immune system getting destroyed. And believe it or not, Smoking Jim, I'm over 60. And I have a birthday at the end of June for my 64th birthday.
And it's the same day every year.
Yeah, and it didn't change. I just have to tell you. And October 11th, 2011 is the birthday of Pittsburgh Sportsline. And that show actually went on air, I think it was on the 20th of October in 2011.
I remember.
So that's when that started. So when Smoking Jim doesn't know birthdays, you know more than Smoking Jim Frazier. But we appreciate all your likes. Last week's show was our first show back during the Corona. The studio's opened up. We have Connor wearing a mask on camera. We got Steve, our #1 volunteer, back. Graduated CCAC, now going to Point Park. He's back there doing the audio, video, and all the control work, even setting Connor up with camera direction too. So thank you, Steve. And he's been here a few years now with us, so we appreciate what he does, help us make us look good. And I have a few things I want to share with you. We'll see how Connor does on this. First up, we have a pizza sponsor who we're not using because we're not eating outside today. And I never know when Smoking Jim will get here, so I'm here a half hour early. And by then, I wouldn't give him a piece of pizza because I'd be in here. And thanks to Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. You can order. They're open. They'll set you up with great pizza and Italian food. Just check it out. Their hoagies are wonderful. We like it, and their pizza's great, all fresh things. So check them out, and they sponsor our show. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, maybe in June, we'll start getting a pizza. We'll start with a pizza slow, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll get them to give me bags so I can hand bags out with a couple slices of pizza for you.
There you go, man.
And then you'll be traveling good.
Yeah, make it easier to keep a slice in your pocket if you need it.
Exactly. Next up, we honor Joey Fabus, who died at 9 years old because of brain cancer, DIPG. And, there we go. Showed me looking away. And you can donate money or time to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. They do a lot of great things. and they've raised over $100,000 during the last 6 years in honor of Joey and trying to find a cure. So check that out. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road, just less than a half a mile away from our studio. Reginald's Coffee, who provides me with a pot of my green tea. Dragonwell is open again. They do curbside service, so you can get your coffee and tea. I recommend it highly. And they have one of the greatest donuts I've heard around, Orem's Donuts. My daughter was telling me how great they are, and when she's had them, she goes, they're just awesome. Other people I've talked to said, just go there for the Orem's Donuts. So all you guys with sweet tooths and Smoking Jim could bring one to his sweetie or sweeties. They could divide it up and take a bite each. Coming attractions, Smoking Jim and your sweeties. Next up, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. So he put my face on Uncle Sam. Look at that. Great work, Connor. I'm moving around. I'm nervous here. I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al sent you, the producer and host of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Call Dave Cable, 412-831-3304. We could use some volunteers to help out since we're back in business. We film over 500 shows a year, some in studio, some on location. Hopefully someday soon we'll be allowed to go back on location. I miss being out there and interviewing guests, so that could be a nice thing. Next up, the Bethel Park Community Foundation, bpcf.org, has money for you. From $100 to $5,000 for your group or organization doing great things in Bethel Park. Make sure you get a hold of them and they can get money to you. They've given out $970,000 over 25 years, and they'll probably give $50,000 to $100,000 out this year. We haven't had any meetings lately because of the corona, but you get an application in, we'll have a meeting for you. You take care and get back to us on that. We have another sponsor, Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station, right at Route 88, 6103 in Finleyville. Check it out. He's been inviting me there, and he doesn't always wear masks. So I told him, I got a health risk, buddy. I don't care what you believe or what you say. Almost 100,000 people have died. I don't want to be in that category, so I can't take the risk. So that's what I've told him. And we're wearing these masks to practice our social distancing, and I'm just glad we could do a show, and hopefully you can hear us and see us. And you can't see the best smile in business with Smoking Jim, but that's how it goes. Call Skeets at 724-348-4715. I missed out on a donut yesterday. He said he had donuts, but I said I'll ignore it. I just enjoyed Memorial Day, so that's what I got to say. And we got to start our show with What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. And I tell you what, I got some good news for everybody.
Whoa!
I always wanted to be a black millionaire. And I'm honored to let everybody...
Race card.
And I'm
Race
honored
card.
to let everybody know I'm halfway there. I'm black. But, hey, listen.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. I have to ask a question to qualify. Are you still gambling?
Oh, well,
You're not
right
going to
now.
make it to the other half.
Right now, brother. Right
You
now.
got money.
Right now, they got me shut down. I got to wait till when the country turns green, which
Well, on that
they'll
note, I
open
got to
up-
ask you, you were spending $250 a day gambling.
Yeah.
I estimate that you should have about $12,000 in a pile in your house. How close are you to that?
I'm not sure.
In other words, you have nothing.
I like to spin. I'm a spinner.
Now that we clarified, he'll only have half of that.
But hey, today I was invited to be part of the media to interview Mika Fitzpatrick on Zoom, but I declined to do it because I didn't want to lose respect for him like I lost respect for Cam Hayward. when Cam Hayward is all upset because he didn't make the all-decade team. He didn't deserve to make the all-decade team. Now Mika Fitzpatrick is upset because he didn't make the NFL Network top 100 players. So I don't want to lose respect for him because I love the guy. And I felt like if I would have been part of that interview and that would have came up, I'd have lost respect for him.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
You played football. Did you try to play your best all the time?
All the time.
Did you succeed at it?
All I cared about was my
No,
teammates.
did you succeed at
winning.
it? Did you succeed at
Yeah, I
it?
played my best.
And people respected your play, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, these guys have that too. Guys respect their play, and other people are getting awards for that. Now, did you win any awards playing football?
Yeah.
Okay, what if they ignored you? How would
I
you
didn't
feel?
care about that. All I cared about was my teammates.
I'm just clarifying
and
that.
winning.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Who cares about making an all-decade team? Hey,
Somebody that's closer to retire than you are?
Only how that matters is when you get screwed over like Clay Matthews, one of the greatest outside linebackers in NFL history, should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So you say.
He got screwed over.
So you say.
But who cares about somebody saying that you're on the all-decade team? Cam didn't deserve that. It definitely Mika, but Mika only played 2 years in the league.
Yeah,
who cares?
But
so basically what you're saying, I'm just sitting here listening. So stuff like, making the Hall of Fame, it's not important.
No,
It doesn't.
I wouldn't have the Hall of Fame. It's
a
Clay.
So what's Pete Rose crying about?
And then, on that happy note, hey, Chip,
that was good.
I have a bone to pick that's been bothering me for like 5 years. T.J. Watt, in his first year, Smoking Jim said he's the greatest linebacker that the Steelers have, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Didn't he just say to Minka, you only have 2 years in?
He only has 2 years in, so who cares?
You said this when he didn't even have a year in, T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
You already had him in the Hall of Fame. You already chiseled his butt.
They shouldn't care.
What's the difference there?
The guys playing.
He got both sides of every argument.
Yeah, we're on the TV side now. But they shouldn't care. All they should care about is winning games. You think Donnie Shell cared about accolades? All he wanted to do was win games. Jack Lambert just wanted to win games.
Yeah, but till Donnie Shell retired and saw people getting in the Hall of Fame. And
I interviewed Donnie Shell. He could care less.
Right. But then
he never thought he was going to get in.
Then it meant something
even though
to
he
him.
deserved it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But you covered both sides of the argument, because the next point I make is, how could you say, being on TV, that T.J. Watt, after 1 year, should be in the Hall of Fame, but Minka shouldn't be in the top 100?
That's why all the best lawyers are white.
Oh, thank you. In other words, I'm right, you're wrong. I got you.
But hey,
the facts don't matter.
Happy anniversary to Coach Mike Tomlin and his beautiful
wife. What a
wife.
nice picture they posted.
24 years, 0 scandals. And I'm honored to say that Mike Tomlin is a friend of mine. I wish he'd keep his mouth shut. Every time I turn around now, Mike Tomlin's talking about he's taking over the defense. He's taking over. He likes a good running game. First of all, Mike Tomlin, you only got the job because you're black. And you have nothing to do with the offense. You never did. Yeah. And you was only a coordinator for 1 year. And you came from a Tampa 2 defense.
Yeah, but because of your...
Keep your mouth shut
and
deal with the media.
Because of your ex-linebacker coach being our defensive coordinator, he's been calling the defensive plays for years now.
Wow. Never should have got rid of Dick LeBeau.
But that's my point. Your friend, Tomlin...
How'd that work out for him in Tennessee?
Dick LeBeau's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest. What do you want him, Coach? He's 90 years old and be great? Want him to turn Tennessee around?
How about all the interceptions he had he should have been in?
Tennessee's a much better team now without him.
Yeah.
And these guys...
He met his match.
Now they got the minority interview. You get an extra draft pick, perhaps, if you interview or hire a black coordinator.
Put your other mask on. I don't want to see your nose.
Yeah. How about a Rooney Rule for white cornerbacks? I like to see a white cornerback, just one in the NFL. Just one.
Hold it. You see the Rooneys, you're friends with them, and you talk bad about them. Go tell them that.
But
Speak up about it. Quit letting it go, because I'm tired of hearing that.
but I got to rest in peace.
Who?
A young kid from Alderdice High School
Yes.
who graduated from Mercyhurst was one part
I
of
saw.
3 twins that Alderdice had. They were great
I
basketball
remember that,
players.
yeah.
He wanted to play professional baseball. I don't know why he wanted to do that, but
Because he was smart. He said, look at Pete Rose.
Yeah, fishing accident. So rest in peace,
And
Kenny Robinson.
they found his body
Yeah,
Saturday
found
night.
his body, and his twin brother's taking it really hard.
Sure, how could you not?
Again, everything I say is factual. It just came out today that a guy found
Please
a
tell
tape
me.
from 1992
What?
where Michael Jordan said him and Charles Barkley will not play for the Dream Team if Isaiah Thomas is on it. Michael Jordan got caught in another lie. Isaiah Thomas is a friend of mine. He's been telling me for years.
Hold it. What did I tell you a couple weeks ago? Michael Jordan kept Isaiah Thomas off of the team because they didn't shake hands in Detroit.
That had nothing to do with
That
it.
was Jordan said that
had
meant
nothing
something.
To do with it. That had nothing to do
That
with
was
it.
what it was about.
That had nothing to do with
You're
it. Man.
now the facts have
Larry
disappeared.
Bird and
The
the
facts
Boston
disappeared.
Celtics didn't shake the Bad Boys' hands when they won the championship.
Doesn't matter.
Because everybody hated the Bad Boys.
Doesn't matter.
He didn't shake Jordan. Who's Jordan for them to shake his hand?
I'm just-
Wasn't for me, he'd be still in the parking lot of the
I'm ju-
Holiday House. I got him in.
Where's the facts on that? That's what I want to
But
know.
lastly, for Chip, this is for Chip.
I was hoping we get to the end of this.
Everybody, yeah, this was a long one, but here's the last
I'm
one.
glad I could interrupt you.
Me and Chip agree on almost everything. But last week, Chip made up a great point about the salary cap. Now that there may not be as many fans in the stands, and as you know, I think the only essential sport is football in this country.
Yeah.
So today I made a phone call. The guy asked me not to reveal his name, Tom Bradley. And he said, don't be surprised. He said, don't be surprised if in the fall, Connor, Rookie of the Year, Steve Fisher, if he likes football, will be under pay-per-view. Now, it may only be $4 or $5, but that $4 or $5 across 300 million people adds up. So you won't see any salary cap reduction, but you will see, you will be paying a little pay-per-view, baby.
Yeah, I mean, let me
with
tell
your
you-
lobster.
Let me tell you a little something about that. If the NFL does that, that will be the last time I watch an NFL football game.
We gotta all make. Hey, that's your entertainment. What you want to pay $4 or $5 a week?
No.
When they're losing, what you want them to cut salary? How are these guys
Sure.
gonna feed their family making $30 million a year?
That's
How
right.
how's Dak Prescott gonna feed his family? That's another one. I think
Do I have to answer that question?
I think Andy Dalton is better than him anyway. I hope Dak Prescott does hold out
Okay.
because Andy Dalton will take his job, and that's what's on my mind.
Okay.
I can't even answer
The
that.
red rifle.
Next. Thank you, Smoking Jim, for being outrageous. Now to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind, I think, is on a lot of people's minds right now. And there's this big rush to let's get back to playing sports.
Yeah.
But we're going to get back to playing sports, but we don't have a plan as to how we're going to do things. Like the NHL came out today and said we're going to have a 24-team tournament that doesn't make any sense, that doesn't pay any tribute to what they've done in the first 70 games of the regular season, which is going to punish the teams that have done the best. Here's a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins will be playing a team in the first round of a 5-game series against a team that would have been in for the lottery pick had they not. Why are we in such a hurry to rush sports back?
Money.
And the sad fact of it is it's not for the fans.
Money.
These owners and these players
Money.
couldn't give less of a hoot about the fans than they could the man on the moon. Because here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get sports back on with no fans at the games, just so that billionaire owners can lose less billions and millionaire players can make less millions than what they're normally making. The only purpose of this is to feed the greedy and not the needy, okay? And then to say that they would go ahead and on an economy that has already been destroyed, where people are struggling to feed their families, oh, we're going to charge you extra to watch a football game so that you can't feed your kids? You don't have any idea the look that gives the NFL? That would just be... It would be laughable to say the very
with
least.
Smoking Jim, one less bucket of chicken. Count me in.
That's not going to happen.
Count me in, brother.
Now here's my
one less bucket of chicken.
Here's what my concern is.
Great point, Chip. You're right.
Here's what my concern is. How is it that you are going to ensure the safety of anybody that has anything to do with the game, from the players to the coaches to the trainers, to the people that are putting on the television production? You know, you've got these people. Okay, so there was a proposal put forth by the NHL that the players had to be tested 48 hours before they came back to whatever facility they were going to, and then they would be tested twice a week. Well, here's what my problem is. You're practicing with your teammates. You get tested on Monday, okay? You test negative. You get tested again on Thursday. Oh, all of a sudden now you test positive. How many people have you been exposed to, and at what point were you contagious and able to pass on the virus to other people? So what are you going to do? You're going to quarantine one person who already may have infected
all of them,
15 or 20 other people, and then you're going to get players in games. Hockey, there's a lot of physical contact. Basketball, there's a lot of physical contact. Professional football, it's
I brought this up
nothing
last
but
week,
contact.
So I understand. Yeah,
but baseball has less contact, but I don't see how they're going to make this able to work. And what are you going to do when somebody tests positive, and how does that affect the games?
I got your answer. In this day and age, if you're not lying, you're not trying. So they're going to lie about it, just like they said the deaths should be less. They're overemphasizing it. The death rate throughout our country is up 20 to 80% or more. So something's causing that. So like what you're saying, if I'm around 18, 20 people and I'm sick with COVID, they all got to be quarantined. Guess what? They're not even going to test them to find out.
That's my next point.
Yes.
How are we going to take all the way?
It's here.
You know what? Don't even start that. That's the most ridiculous thing that you said so far. But anyhow, I digress. But so
it's killing more black people. Can I say that?
How do we
really?
assure the safety of everybody? And we really have no way of doing that right now. So I personally, as much as I would like to see the game of baseball back, and I miss it dearly, it's in my DNA. I don't see how they can play games this year. And the latest proposal that the owners gave to the players basically stuck their nose up in the air and said, no, we're not going to do that. Well, you know what? It's going to come down to the fact they're going to use people's safety as the reason for not playing the game, but it's going to be because the greedy owners and the greedy players can't decide on how to break up the pieces of pie.
But again, me and Chip agrees like we usually do. I say shut down baseball, shut down hockey, shut down basketball, and let's focus on the NFL and college football.
I don't see how they can play.
I
don't see how they can play football. I just don't.
You turn on your TV after you pay, and you'll see it.
That will not happen.
Let me clarify something. Chip, even though he agrees with you on almost everything, he did say he wouldn't pay to watch NFL football.
Well, yes,
you missed that.
No,
yes,
any more than what I'm paying right now. I'm not going to pay extra.
So you're going over your neighbors to watch it.
I would not. No, I would not.
You'll be watching it. You'll be dying for
I'm
sports.
practicing social distancing. But that's what's on my mind. All this talk about let's hurry up and rush and bring back sports. I don't think anybody has a well thought out plan yet, and they're flying by the seat of their pants. And as they do, time keeps ticking.
One thing I'll say, in sort of defense of that, with the conditions that I have, If I were 30 years younger and thought I was invincible like I did, I'd be against everything happening. But the world has changed. And we have almost 100,000 people have died. We can make fun of it, but here's what I say. Why can't we be kind? I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. Connor, I respect your young opinion, the youngest one in the room. And Steve, I respect your opinion. Why can't we start working by respecting other people's opinions and beliefs? And you're entitled to think the opposite of me and to care less about people and whatever else, because you believe that. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know, you don't care if you're black, white, except for safety or whatever, but, you know, we'll worry about that later. But I just want to see more kindness out there. Like, I respect your opinion, but I disagree.
Football's an essential sport.
I respect his opinion, and I agree. So we're all okay here.
Football's an essential sport. We got to play.
In your mind, in my mind, I'll get what's on my mind. A person put up a photo, and I thought it was so cool, from 1918. It showed people in the stands wearing masks, wearing hats, suits. Georgia Tech. This guy's grandfather took a picture of the teams and the game they played. They played 7 games. One of the games was against Pitt. Georgia Tech actually played Pitt that year under the same circumstances of the pandemic. And people were going to games. They weren't really social distancing, but they all had masks on. And it showed that picture, and somehow they survived 1918 and 1920 with a pandemic where, listen to this, 50 to 75 million died.
Wow.
Do you understand those numbers?
Wow.
50 to 75 million died because of the flu.
Wow.
And they said then, you know what the total population in the world was? 1.5 billion. So the percentage was huge compared to what we're seeing now. We got almost 8 billion people in the world. But 100 years ago, there were 1.5 billion, and up to 75 million died. So it is serious. We can make fun about it, but people are dying. Would I like to see places open up, churches, synagogues, temples? Sure. But how do you protect yourself like Chip is asking? Go ahead.
Now, and I heard, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
me if I'm wrong.
We will. We will.
But I heard there's no virus that can travel 6 feet. So you don't have to have distancing to 6 feet in the stands. You can have 2-3 feet. It won't.
How
unless
about
somebody
I heard?
spits on you.
How about I heard from some doctors and entomologists?
I got doctors too.
13 feet. Some of it'll travel. A sneeze
didn't know that.
or a cough.
See, that
up to 13
that
feet.
makes sense. That makes sense then.
But that's with a cough or a sneeze.
But with this on, you can't. You it won't go. That's without this.
That's my point there.
With this on.
Here's
So-
what. If you don't think there's anything to worry about, take the mask off, go to the COVID-19 ward, and sit down and read a newspaper.
I don't know where that's at.
Okay?
I don't know where that's at.
Hospital.
Yeah,
I don't know where that's
you
at.
know, and then you'll find out what's real and what's not.
Sure.
Football's essential sport. I want to see it.
Well, we're going to come back, folks. That's all we got. Glad we could cover the corona situation. We'll get some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. How's your headset?
Man, I tell you what, my man Connor got a nice penguin mask on, man. I want to get me one of them. I love the Penguins, even though the greatest player of all time was Wayne Gretzky.
Hold
And-
it. You
and-
told me your favorite player is Yager, so you got a
Yager's my
technicality.
favorite player.
Okay, you can wear one.
But the greatest is Wayne Gretzky, and the greatest today is Ovechkin. But this is what's on my mind. Another dedication to Chip, because the last time I did this on Fiction and Fact from Spoken Jim's Almanac, Chip was off that week, so I wanted to go back to 1972. Now, I'm not sure if I was at the game. I didn't go to many Pirate games over my lifetime.
Let me explain something. Before he tells this story again, he was not there, never knew what a baseball game was till 9 years ago when he started working on Pittsburgh Sportsline.
But so I'm
Go
not,
ahead, lay it
I'm
out
not
there.
sure if my dad took me to the game,
No, he didn't.
or I went with my
I
baseball
called your mother.
team,
I called your mother.
or I went with my baseball team, but I was there to see Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit, and I remember sitting up there, and I was out of snow cones by the third inning, and I remember seeing Roberto Clemente.
Who was pitching?
I can't remember all that, but this is what I do
Hey,
remember.
hold it one
this
second.
This is what I do remember.
Tell me 2 players on your team. 2.
All you white guys looking like I don't know them. I just knew numbers.
2 players.
But I was a pitcher. I was a great pitcher.
Where was the
but
ball
here,
hit?
check this out. Check this out. I remember sitting there. It was during the day, and I remember seeing Roberto Clemente, and I was like, he is so good that he's fouling off these balls. He must have fouled off 20 balls. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sitting there in the stands.
3.
And I'm like, if he don't like the pitch, he can foul it off. That's amazing. And then I remember he hit the ball, and we were all cheering, and I wanted him to stop at first like my hero Pete Rose would do, but he went for a double, and I thought maybe he'd get thrown out, and he slid, and he was there. And that's the fiction. In fact, from Smoker Jim's Almanac. Now, I can't remember if my dad took me or I went with my baseball team, but I was there. I was there to see Roberto's last hit.
So you don't know who was pitching?
No.
Okay.
Why would I?
Do you know where the ball was hit?
No. I just remember wanting him to stop at first.
Okay, yeah. So you do know that it was a double.
Yeah, it was a double because I
Okay.
kept saying, "Stay at first."
Because he didn't listen to
I wanted
Pete
him to get
Rose.
that
Okay,
3,000.
well, wait. Was the picture for the what was the team we were playing?
I don't remember.
And was the pitcher right-handed or
I
left-handed?
can't remember all those facts.
Okay.
I know I was out of snow cones.
The Pirates were playing the New York
I was
Mets.
out of snow cones.
The Pirates were playing the New York Mets at Three Rivers Stadium.
Okay.
John Matlack was pitching.
Was you there?
And he's a left-handed pitcher.
Was you there?
Okay, and the ball was hit the left center field.
Were you there too?
No, I was not.
Oh man.
I watched it on TV.
Only I was there. Was it on TV?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All right, I
And
got
the classic
something-
picture with him.
I got something good for
Nobody
Chip's
believes
trivia.
me.
All right, enough of Smoking Jim's fiction
That's
and fact.
facts.
He did it again. He was an honest man. Okay, let's go to Chip Hayner.
Here we are. Today is May the 26th, 2020. And I'm going to take you back to another May 26th,
Whoa.
maybe 61 years ago.
Wow.
61 years ago.
Wow.
Remember how last week I talked about
Yes.
some of the records in baseball that will never be broken?
Yeah.
Soft
Like the
records.
56-game hitting streak?
That'll be broken.
Yes. Never.
Well, May 26th, 1959. Something happened that will never happen again as long as the game of baseball is played.
Whoa.
And what I'm talking about is a Pirates pitcher of really no note, but his name was Harvey Haddix. And Harvey Haddix
Had a day.
had a day like nobody else has ever had a
Really?
day. He
You'll hear.
pitched 12 perfect innings and lost the game in the 13th inning. He lost his perfect game by a runner getting on base by a throwing error by one of his teammates. And then Joe Adcock hit a 3-run walk-off homer, but it only was a 2-run homer because he screwed up when he ran the bases. and his run didn't count. I will give you the rundown. On May 26, 1959, Harvey Haddix of the Pittsburgh Pirates pitched a perfect game for 12 innings against the Milwaukee Braves, but lost the no-hitter and the game in the 13th inning. The game was played at Milwaukee County Stadium. Haddix's perfect game bid was broken up in the bottom of the 13th when a throwing error by Pirate third baseman Don Hoke
Whoa, I remember.
allowed Felix Mantilla to reach base. Haddix lost the no-hitter and the game along with it when Joe Adcock hit what appeared to be a walk-off 3-run homer. A base-running mistake caused by Adcock's home run to be ruled a one-run double by National League President Warren Giles sometimes later. Braves starter Lou Burdette, despite giving up 8 hits through 9 innings, was pitching a shutout of his own. 3 times the Pirates came close to scoring the winning run for Haddix. In the 3rd inning, a base-running blunder by Hoke. Darn Hoke. I get he's not one of his favorite teammates, I would have to say.
He was a goat in the bad form of a goat, not a true goat.
Negated 3 consecutive singles. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Bill Verdon reached base on a 1-out hit, advanced to 3rd on Rocky Nelson's single. However, Bob Skinner grounded back to Burdette to end the threat.
He's a good player.
And here's the interesting thing about this. The Pirates also recorded hits in the 11th, 12th, 13th inning, but left a base runner on in each of the latter 2 innings.
Wow. Some things
And
never
in
change.
1989, it was revealed that during the game, the Milwaukee bullpen tracked Harvey Haddix's intended pitches and signaled the batters what pitch was to come. All the players except Hank Aaron took the stolen signals. And Hank Aaron did not accept the signals because he didn't want to know what was coming. He wanted to take his shot at it because that's how a true champion does things. He doesn't cheat to break records. He just breaks records. See? Now you see Barry Bonds broke Hank Aaron's home run record. He had to cheat to do it.
Thank you, Chip Painter. No further discussion on that.
You don't believe me, but you'll believe Hank Aaron.
On location. Guess what? Nobody's open for us to go on location. They only got curbside delivery and come in and get your food. So we're on hold with on location. We're not sure how long it'll be. There's a lot of pressure coming from the restaurants and other people to reopen the country, like Chip had said. So it's in a state of flux. They don't have enough testing. So who knows who's sick? As Trump would say, I'm not worried about people getting sick. And if you test people, more people are going to be sick, so I'm not testing people.
President Trump.
Well, he is our president. And luckily, you can believe whatever side of whatever the truth is that he's saying. But I'm going by, we need to get people back to work because we'd like to do some shows and interview people when it's safe. And one key thing, just remember the word testing. And we'll be back with some more sports talk. Steve, you can pick whatever commercial you want.
We're in the Stanley Cup final for the 2nd year in a row, and here's Yager with the puck. Yager, nice move around right center to the backhand. Let's it go, he scores!
Whoa, I better look at the camera. Thanks, Connor. Welcome back. Well, we heard you could have hockey coming back. I heard you might have NBA coming back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so all the millionaires that are black will be there. Because they'll be black and millionaires.
They'll get paid anyway.
But I'm just telling you, in contrast to Smoking Jim, who only has half of the equation, they got the whole enchilada.
Oh, I got you.
You said it.
That went over my head.
I'm just using your words. And then you people think I pick on him. I'm trying to help him. He won't accept it. He's just so stubborn. I can't believe it. And I know because I'm stubborn, so I can see it. What do you think about the NBA, big boy?
Well, I think that is non-essential sport. I believe that the NBA, if the NCAA, which is the most popular sport, March Madness, generates the most money in this country. If they had to shut down for the season, why not just shut down the NBA? They're talking about re-bracketing the teams.
Sure.
Based on record and not by league. So now you could have the Los Angeles Clippers and the Lakers playing for the championship. So they just doing all kind of goofy things.
I'd watch that game.
Yeah, and we're in a pandemic, and I've been practicing that word.
Very good.
So you got to shut down anything non-essential. The NBA, non-essential. You know, Major League Baseball, non-essential. Hockey, non-essential. football
What about
essential
soccer?
sport.
What about soccer?
Who cares about that? They don't play that in this country.
All over the world, it's number one.
It's amazing.
Now Brazil,
It's the
that's
most
Brazil.
popular.
They're
yeah,
sick
Brazil,
there.
yeah.
They're quarantined.
Keep it
and
out of
everything.
this country. That no soccer in this country. They can play it in Brazil where they're great at it.
Our president
They
just
can play
canceled.
baseball in Dominican
Our
Republic.
president just canceled all travel to Brazil.
Good.
You missed that.
Good.
You missed
We
it.
don't need it.
That's what he said.
All we need is football. Let's concentrate on what we do best. And what we do best is football.
All right, speaking of football, what about college football?
Yeah.
How are they going
that's
to do it in the fall?
Same way they do in the NFL. NFL set a good example. College football is already wide open. They're ready to go, man.
Some football teams already said if they're not coming back to school and campus, they're canceling their season.
Who said that?
College teams.
President is about to get fired?
No.
Yeah, because
No.
I'll tell you what, let one of them big time schools
that's what's
shut
going
down
on.
football and
Yeah.
everybody else playing.
They're saying if the students don't come back to campus, they're not going to have a season.
Well, they can do it online. They still get the bucks. What's the difference?
No. Then I heard with high school that they're talking about possibly changing the football season to the spring because maybe things will be better and do track and field at this time of year,
No, I
the
want
beginning part of the year.
I want Pine Ridgeland in the fall. They've been ducking Gateway long enough. I want them. South Fayette is now moved up a little bit. All
Your
these
friends
teams,
live there. Why
I
are you
wish we
talking
could
bad
get
about
Perry,
South?
but
Your
Perry
friends,
is still running.
your good friends live in South Fayette. Why are you talking about that?
I love to beat them too.
Wow. Well, they'll have to play in the spring too.
No,
I
the
heard
fall.
there's rumors of it.
The fall. What rumors you hearing?
I heard some talk radio mentioning that they're actually considering moving the football season to the
Don't
spring.
listen to them. Listen to me.
You know, here's the only problem. You know, and I think one of the biggest problems that we have with what's going on right now is that there's too many people talking about it and floating these ideas that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. And then once somebody hears it once, well, if you repeat it enough times, then all of a sudden people start believing that it's true.
Well, they learned that from the Nazis and Hitler, that he found out if you tell something at least 3 times,
Get the media.
actually people,
You're
the
right.
government, his government, they were creating the propaganda. They didn't have to use the media, they did it. It started from them.
But,
And
you know,
they're famous
you know,
for saying it. Books have been written about
you know,
it.
as far as you see what they're doing with the NASCAR races. You know, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Watching a sporting event without a crowd there, it just takes something from
Takes
it.
the edge off of it.
You know, I mean,
You'll get used to it.
I hope I don't have to.
I'm a professional wrestling fan. They've not stopped Raw or Friday Night Wrestling. I tape it every week and
Do
I
they
enjoy
still
it.
script that stuff?
Huh? No, it's real. They put people
I
through.
watched it for 5 minutes.
They put people through tables and everything else.
I
throw 'em out
watched
in
it
the
for
ring.
5 minutes, and I go, how can this be a sport? Because I wanted to see what you were talking about.
I love it.
It hasn't changed in 40 years.
Oh man, they're bigger and stronger, faster. Yeah.
And they act better.
But
Their acting is better.
It was goofy the first couple of weeks, but you get used to it. You get used to it.
So here's one of the things that I find really interesting with what the proposal is for the NHL, and this is another one of the things that just doesn't make any kind of sense to me. So now there are 31 teams in the NHL. Okay, there's a 32nd team is supposed to come into existence in the next year or two.
Yeah.
Seattle. So now you've got 7 teams that are not going to be part of the Stanley Cup playoff tournament.
Right.
So these 7 teams are going to go into the lottery for the first pick in the draft. Okay, which, if it was normally the 16 teams, there would be 15 teams that weren't going to make the playoffs that would all have a chance to be in the lottery.
Same lottery.
So now there's teams that are going to go into a playoff format that have no business being in the playoff format because they didn't perform during the regular season. Now they're going to not only get robbed of their chance to get a very high draft pick, which could change the fortunes of the franchise.
Like it did with us.
Okay? Now, you know, so how do you make this equitable and fair? How do you have the draft before you've completed the previous season?
Great question.
Could you imagine having the NFL draft in the 3rd week of November, okay, and determining who's going to get the first pick in the draft? And you haven't even determined what the final standings are.
Sure.
The reason why you have the draft in April is because, all right, now you know who was the 32nd team, and they're going to get the first pick in the draft. And the number one team is going to get the last pick in the draft.
You could never do that with an essential sport. You seen the way the NFL had their draft; it was better than ever.
Right, because they were off season, and their season had been completed.
That was
Basketball
hilarious.
season hasn't gone. Now here you're going to have Major League Baseball, who their draft is based on last year's standings. So that being said, their draft is coming up in the next couple of weeks. How do you have a draft when you don't know
the results?
What's going on? It's
Well, he told you non-essential in his mind.
You're worrying about a lot of minute things. That's minute.
No, well,
Hold it, they're all major sports, minute.
Is that a word?
Are you reading the
Is that a
dictionary?
word?
Are you reading the dictionary? Because you don't sound like you know what it means.
These are multi-billion dollar.
Let me explain minute and major. Major's here, minute's here. Okay?
These are all multi-billion dollar business enterprises.
And
Owned by billionaires.
The worst draft in the world is baseball draft. They're drafting some kid out of junior high school. I mean, that's a...
No, high school.
Who cares?
High school.
Who cares who gets what pick in the baseball draft? Most of the times they don't even make it anyway. It's
your
a
opinion.
crapshoot.
In your
It's a
opinion.
crapshoot.
Smoking, Jim. We're just trying to discuss sports here intelligently. Put your dictionary away because your verbiage is off a little bit. That minute didn't apply to any of that.
I must have used the wrong word.
No. You don't understand what it means. Like, how do you disrespect multi-billion-dollar leagues?
Huh?
Multi-billion. Can you count to 1 million?
Well, that's
Try
the problem.
counting to 1 billion.
Somebody's getting ready to be a trillionaire.
Yeah. Good.
That's 1,000 billions.
Yeah. Can you count to 1 million? Can you count to 1 million?
No.
Okay. You don't even know what a billion or a trillion looks like. So how's that relate to you? Unbelievable.
So what we've got right now is we've got too many unknowns, a lot of questions, and no real logical or tangible answers to their questions or solutions to the problems as they're going to present themselves. And I don't think that this is something that you can just like fly by the seat of your pants on.
No.
There has to be really very strict.
Good point.
And they say testing is the key. Well, there's not enough testing available for the people of the United States of America.
Right.
How are we going to waste all that testing on a few thousand professional athletes, and for what end?
He'll tell
And
you. He
for
has
what
the
end?
answer.
Can I ask you guys both a question?
Oh, I thought you were going to answer.
Would you be opposed, either you two, would you be opposed for this year just shutting down baseball, basketball, and hockey? Because right now, like Chip said, nobody has a real plan. That's what I'm saying.
And neither does football.
But you got some time to get it together for football.
But
Football's not starting till September.
How are you going to ensure the safety? Because you're not only talking about the guys playing the game on the field.
Yeah.
Most of the coaches in the league are in high-risk groups, may have a lot of underlying health issues that could potentially put them at risk. Then you've got their families. Are you going to quarantine them from their families? The players have already said their families are essential to them. They need to be around their families. So
They're not around them in training camp. It's 6
yeah,
weeks
right.
training
And
Well, that's the only time, 3 weeks.
And the fact of the matter is, this virus isn't going anywhere.
I don't know that. I heard different.
Who told you that?
I heard it go.
From who? What'd you hear?
From our president.
What did he say?
He said we don't have pretty much nothing to worry about.
Well,
He's on top of
here's
it.
Tell
what's
that to the families of 100,000
Yeah,
people.
here's what's interesting. He said not to worry about it when we only had 15 cases. And how did this happen? I mean, if you were a coach and you told us we haven't lost a game yet and you lost every game for the next 20 years, like the Pirates, then what would you say? That's a great job?
But we need, like Chip
No, but that's a
said-
great job.
Like Chip said, we need to get our people back to work. There's people that can't feed their kids.
Understand. How you doing with that? How's it at home with you? Try not to lie out of it.
I got money in the backyard dug up. I dig up my money, brother.
Chip, all I know is this guy dumped $250 every week at the casino.
Every day.
And now, you know what he has saved up? Nothing. What's between here? Right here. He can't even bring out a wad. You'll choke a horse with yours. Look at his. That's 1 week of gambling.
Yeah. And those are all
dug
ones.
it. I
No,
dug
that's
this,
1 week of
I
gambling.
dug this up for
Smoke and Jim, you're one of the best entertainers in the media. And I just hate your opinion's respected, but not well received. I respect that you're entitled to your opinion, but you got to go back to the dictionary and read some words that you'll understand, and then we can talk intelligently about it. But I got to agree with Chip that we want people to be safe, and I want everybody to come back. I'm a worker. I worked 36 years at the Press and Post Gazette, didn't turn down a day of work, worked overtime in that whole career. So when you're talking about work, I'm a worker. I'm not a hider like you. So I've been out there and I've done it. I feel for everybody that wants to work, but like we've said, if you're not testing and our president says don't worry about it, we got 100,000 dead. We got 100,000 dead.
He got a plan.
Well, the plan is this. Let me explain it. He wants to be reelected, so he needs to open the economy because he bragged about he was the only one to make the economy great. He didn't realize Obama did it for 8 years, and he got less jobs in 3 years than Obama did in his last 3 years. These are statistics. You like facts, like you know how to read how many wins somebody has in a season, okay? Obama shut out Trump the last 3 years compared to Trump's first 3 years, but what do you hear? He's like you. He's an entertainer. He tells people that he started the greatest economy. Well, he was about 1.5 million jobs short of what Obama had. So how was the economy greater during your 3 years? Explain that.
Well,
like, how was your team greater when you lost half the games?
Well, I'm not allowed to vote for him anyway because of what Joe Biden said.
Well, you're not allowed to vote for him because you're not registered. You're not registered.
I don't think you voted ever.
I've been there.
We don't even know what his name is legally. It ain't Smoking Jim Frazier, that's for sure.
I vote on them new computers now, man.
They don't count. And then our president voted by absentee ballot, and he's telling you, me, and Chip, and everybody else, you can't vote by absentee ballot, and there's fraud. Well, is he saying his vote was fraud in the last election? Because I'm listening to what he said. I'm just trying to make sense out of like what you say and what he says. And I'm starting to see, I see why you're on the same page. I'm understanding 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It's 3, or no, it's 4 today, and it's 0 tomorrow. But that'll make it clear. No, sorry.
You know what, and I believe this in all my heart that when we reconvene next Tuesday night, we're still not going to have a plan on how we're going to open up hockey, baseball, basketball. And so far, and the NFLPA has said this, there has been no plan put forth by the NFL that the Players Association has approved to reopen the sport yet. So the NFLPA says, you know what? Hold your horse. Before you start doing anything, you got to tell us what the plan is, and they haven't. So more to come.
That's all we can say. I'm glad we wavered a little on a few discussions. We found out minute doesn't mean major, so we learned that. So we're going to have to wind the show. Connor gave me the finger, number 1, so I appreciate that.
Is that what that was?
Yes. Me and him, we're on the same wavelength.
You got this going.
Yeah, we got this going on. We understand we probably got about 30 seconds left. I want to thank all of you for watching our show. We're trying to provide some entertainment and very little information that's true, and we're trying to keep that possible. So we'll be back again each week trying to do this, and look forward to a possible watch party type show, something on Facebook when we're doing the show. And that's going to be it for us. See you next week. Stay Joey strong.